PK in the universe, and I am back again with another video. This is kind of a video that I just kind of decided to make off the cuff. I saw a tweet on Twitter, and that's what inspired me to make this, or is it X and posts or whatever we're calling it nowadays? I don't know. I guess I'm an old man set in his ways, and I just can't call it X and posts. That's silly. But anyways, saw this really good tweet from the Well-Read Mage. The Well-Read Mage had posted a tweet about his son had come finish the game Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, which is my favorite game of all time, so it really resonated with me. I'm also a father. I have a father of 2 kids, so I've seen my own son beat games, and it's always a very big deal and a huge triumph, and great, wonderful feeling. So yeah, I saw that tweet and I absolutely liked it. Loved it, in fact. Gave it a heart and thought it was fantastic, And I feel like most people, like 99.9% of the people that read that tweet, felt the same way. They felt like this is really wholesome content, just a proud father, tweeting about how his son beat a game and how cool that is, So I like the tweet, but then he had made another tweet recently and showed that apparently there were some really nasty people in some of these comments or whatever, just basically saying just disgusting stuff for like no reason, like some of it I'm like, I don't even want to repeat that. That's terrible. It's like, I'll let you people on the internet go find it. The Well-Read Mage was very clear about do not harass these people, but consider blocking and muting them. There are some people who are just mentally ill, honestly, and are clearly unregulated and unchecked. You can tell these people have issues, very isolated, and clearly are not in a good place. It's one of those deals. It's like, I liked what somebody else commented about was like, are these people mad or are these people sad? And that can be hard to distinguish. And I would say that the majority of these people are very sad individuals. And like somebody said something along the lines of, oh, in 15 years from now or something like that, that this kid will be, I don't know what they said exactly, like will be, angry or something because they were forced to play a video game. That's the thing that really set me off, was the whole insinuation that kids can be forced to play video games. Are you kidding me? I can't even get my son to eat vegetables. I have to fight him a little bit to do his homework, even though he's a good kid and he's brilliant. Like, he skipped a grade in school and he's, he reads better at 6 years old than I did at 10 years old. Okay. He's brilliant. I feel like he's a very smart child. And there's a lot of kids like him out there, and there's kids who may be more usual, I guess, who like video games as well. Every kid likes video games for the most part, because they never knew a time in existence where video games didn't exist. They never knew a time where video games didn't exist. And, it doesn't matter what you put in front of them, honestly, because at the end of the day, it's video games. I mean, just depends maybe what they like to play. But the whole notion that retro gaming enthusiasts are forcing retro games on their kids is just absurd and ridiculous. This is what most kids grew up. If you grew up with a retro gaming dad or retro gaming mom or parent in general or retro gaming grandparent, you grew up with seeing retro games, so you're naturally curious and you're going to want to play them because that's what kids do. Kids are curious. And they see what your hobbies are, whether that's comic book collecting, retro game collecting, whatever. Or like I grew up in the car business, so naturally I was a little bit curious about cars. Not as curious as I was about video games, but I did learn things about cars, through being around my dad all the time. So the idea that, that retro gaming parents are forcing retro games on their kids is absurd and ridiculous. And it's clearly from people who don't have kids. They clearly do not have children. And they clearly do not interact with kids in any way, shape, or form. These people probably are very sad and live very isolated lives. And, and they're just, I don't want to say that they're trolling. Some of them might genuinely feel that way, but they're also very ignorant. It's possible they're very ignorant and they don't understand, really. We all, no matter who we are as a parent, you share your hobbies and your passions with your children if you care about them, and you listen to them too. And they like my son, he's really into Ninjago. I'm not into Ninjago, but guess what? I'll sit with him and watch Ninjago with him, and sometimes I even find myself getting into it. But also he likes Stuff like the original, what's it, The Real Ghostbusters, which is the cartoon I grew up with but didn't like, but he actually does like. You know, it's great to expose your kids to the old school stuff and the new school stuff. But this whole idea that, that a kid wouldn't like retro games in 2023 is so ridiculous and absurd. It's just like these people, they live isolated. That's all I can think, honestly, is that they just live a very isolated life. I mean, I've known kids whose parents weren't into retro games that were into retro games, and they learned about it on the internet because people post YouTube videos, and, it could be something as simple as, I heard about Dragon Quest Builders, and then I wanted to find, get into the original Dragon Quest. That's exactly what happened with my son. When I first showed him Dragon Quest Builders, he wanted to play the original Dragon Quest. Now, he didn't get very far in it, but I think he enjoyed what he played of it, and he kind of really appreciated it for what it was. But my son also likes a game such as Legend of Mana, and there's a great remaster on PS4. That's a game that came out, over 20 years ago, and he absolutely resonates with it, and it has an old school look already to it, because it obviously doesn't look anything like Final Fantasy VII, of course. But that's a game that absolutely resonates with him. In fact, him and I did a 25-minute podcast about it. I never forced him to play that. I never even told him, you should play this game. He literally just asked me one day, he's like, can I play this game? I'm like, yeah. Well, try it out, see how you like it, and also the great thing about, of course, Legend of Mana is it's a multiplayer game. Kids like playing games with their parents together, That's what's great about a game like Legend of Mana. I can actually take my file, the character from my file, and bring it over to his file, and we can play together. And of course, my character's ridiculously overpowered, so I can help him get all the crystals he needs to help power up his character. That's what I love about video games, especially old school video games. Is so much of co-op games is about learning to work together with people and to work to make each other better. So I think this whole notion that people are forcing retro games on their kids is just, it's just the thing of it's a fantasy, honestly, for people who don't have children. It's an anecdotal fantasy, plain and simple. So anyways, I wanted to share my thoughts on, this topic, because I've seen this topic in the past before, but I've never actually thought to actually make any kind of video about it. So what are your guys' thoughts? Are you a retro gamer, and do your kids play retro games? Or have they ever played retro games? Maybe they don't play retro games anymore. Maybe they liked it when they were a kid, but maybe they moved on to other type of gaming, like Starfield. Starfield's very popular right now. I just got it. I played it for a little bit, and I'm absolutely loving what I've played so far, but I got a lot going on. It was Labor Day weekend. I went camping and kayaking, and I'm trying to think what else we did. We did a bunch of stuff. Hiking, we did that too. So school time is starting again. There's always things going on. That's just kind of the life of a parent. And as much as I love gaming, there's just more to life than gaming, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that doesn't mean you can't have fun gaming, and that can't be a good part of your life depending on how you're utilizing it. So, but anyways, I kind of rambled on there a little bit there. So what are your guys' thoughts? Comment below. Love to hear what you have to say. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and stay awesome in this universe. Thanks.